yeah, he was only a few hours off like something really, really bad happening to him, and it was life or death at that point. So yeah, it was full blown in the emergency getting him. They'd officially diagnosed him with type 1 diabetes, and Jack still takes the record out. I think his a normal, just to give you guys an understanding, a normal blood glucose reading is between 4 and 8. Jack's was 57.
Oh my God. Welcome to Built to Rise. I'm Amber.
I'm Janaya.
So exciting. So today we're actually going to be learning about my co-host, Janaya, and her story and how she built herself to rise and how she continues to do it. So, babe, let's introduce yourself.
Yeah, so, well, I'm Janaya. and and I am nearly 30 years old. Wow, I am getting old. I grew up in the beautiful Northern Rivers area and have lived there my whole life. My husband, Jackson. So I met Jacko at school in, when was that? Like 2011, I think, 2012. Anyway, 15 years or more ago, Jacko and I met. We became mates, and then, you know, one thing led to another. And here we are 15 years later, 3 kids, multiple businesses. Man, it has been a journey. And yeah, I've got 3 little boys with Jacko. So Jack's 6 years old. Freddie is nearly 4 and Billy is 2, and oh my God, do they keep me on my toes. 3 wild boys, and I absolutely love being a boy mum, and that's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and something that I am just so I'm so proud of. And yeah, my boys are just my whole entire world, and Jacko, of course. But yeah, we bought a farm and we've settled in the Northern Rivers, and our it's just been, there's been so much happen in the last few years since having kids. So many challenges, so many successes, but lots of things to navigate nonetheless. And I think it's it's taught me that you do have to rise up and that you do have to get through. And the other side is has always got something better to offer. So it's just getting through those things. I guess it all started for Jacko and I. Jacko was a professional bull rider. So I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined that I'd marry a bull rider. But here we are. And also, like buying our farm, and we've had such a passion for the rodeo and events industry. And I think since leaving school, I've always done, events and marketing, and also to be back into that and be doing that again, but also with my husband is something that I absolutely love, and definitely comes with its ups and downs working with your husband, as you know. But yeah, absolutely love what we do, and I love that we've got the 3 boys to share it with as well.
Yeah, I love your little family. Janaya and Jackson have become very close friends and business partners with us this past year and a half. And I love your love journey. Like Brody and I, we've also been together for 14 years this year, which is just crazy. Like the synchronicities that we have, minus children. I don't have them yet.
Coming soon.
Coming soon, hopefully one day. Maybe Brody says never. But yeah, let's start with, you mentioned you have J&J Rodeo, that's yours and Jacko's rodeo business. How did you guys end up actually, building that business?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Jacko was always his whole family has been in the the bull riding and rodeo game, and I think it was just something that was bred into Jackson from obviously a very young age, and something that he's super, super passionate about. And I think having his passion and his talent in the bull riding and rodeo industry, driven by my events and my marketing background, I think it was just like the 2 worlds met, and it was sort of like, this is just something that sparked in us. And we were like, we'd already, I guess, dabbled with the idea of having, some rodeo bulls and doing contracting sort of thing here and there. But we also knew that there was more for us. And we knew that what, our knowledge behind, working in events, and that it might, what I had learned in events and marketing, I was like, I can implement this. We can actually create a national, an Australia-wide events company. Like, we can do this. And I think it took Jacko a little bit more convincing, because I think he's more humble than me in that sense. Like, he's like, let's just dip our toes in. And I'm like, nope, if we're doing this, we are going all in. So we heavily invested in the business to start with. And then obviously there was lots of challenges that came with that. And like, honestly, quite a few setbacks that came with that as well. But we literally just kept going. And Jackson was just buying up rodeo bulls left, right, and center. And I was like, oh my God, I'd drive down my driveway, Amber, and then would just be like a random bull there that I'd never seen before. And I'm like, when did he arrive? I'm like, what's going on? Next minute, there's 150 bulls. But I guess, that's sort of how it started. I guess it was just more, Jackson had, this was bred into him, and he'd sort of, I guess, because we had so much on the line with our children and our farm, he's basically let go of the actual bull riding side of things, but just lent into his boss era of actually creating J&J Rodeo. And that has just opened so many doors for us. So that's how it started. And I think we just went all in. Jacko, we did a lot of things to be really cost effective ourselves as well. So we built, Jackson actually, he's a mechanical engineer, fitter welder by trade. So he built all of our chutes and arena himself. And that was just so much like the long hours. But I was like, this is going to be so worth it in the end. And then seeing the product all come together and everything that we'd built, we also have our own breeding program with our rodeo cattle as well. So seeing lots and lots on the ground that we'd actually bred ourselves, that just watching it all actually come together. And then when you take them to the events and you set up and then you see your bulls buck and you see it all just come together, you're like, wow, this is like what it is all about. Yeah. And this is why we created what we created. And then also to see like our kids seeing that is just a whole nother feeling, like seeing them experience what we've created and actually enjoy it and be like, wow, like that's my mum and dad. Like, that feeling is just unmatched.
Yeah, that honestly, like, I'm so proud of you guys. Janaya and Jackson actually, how many years have you been running J&J Rodeo for?
Quite a few years now. I think it was about, when did we launch our first event, which was Evans Head back in 2023. 2 or 2023, about 3 years.
Yeah, so they've been doing this for 3 years, and Brody and I have been running our events, Bikes and Bulls, since 2015, and obviously that's how Jackson was one of our team leaders in our bull riding teams. That was part of our events. So we've been doing this for 10 years, and you guys then started your journey. It's so cool to see another young couple decide to do something amazing, and it's so needed, and to watch you guys grow with us working together the past year and a half as well. Speaking into J&J Rodeo and you and Jackson running that business together, how do you navigate that? Because you live with each other, you're trying to raise kids together, you're trying to do business. Like, what does that actually look like?
Yeah, look, it can sometimes be quite a lot. Jacko and I have very different personalities, and different ways of working and different perspectives sometimes on things, which can be quite hard to navigate. But I think we actually complement each other in the sense of what we're both, our strengths and our weaknesses within our company. So, things that Jacko's really good at, I'm not as good at, like, the physical side of things. Like he 100% loves to highlight that, by the way. And then obviously I do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, the marketing, the creative side, all the admin, the accounting, the support, managing our team, because that can be quite extensive as well. So there is a lot of challenges that come with that, but I guess we just always keep in mind that we do have to separate ourselves sometimes to the point where we will work in different spaces to be able to I guess cope and actually get the jobs done that we need to get done, so that actually can work quite well. But we also work well together as well. Like, we can really encourage each other and uplift each other, and but then we also can read between the lines and go, okay, yeah, we need to give each other our own creative spaces to actually work, so that we can be as productive as we possibly can. But yeah, like, I am not going to sugarcoat it. Like, it's sometimes can be really really bloody messy,
Yeah.
but we and you know, it can be quite chaotic because also we have 3 kids we're navigating this with, you know. So that's obviously the priority. But then there's also, that comes with massive deadlines when you're in this events industry, and also comes with sometimes you don't have a lot of notice and you've got to take opportunities. So then that comes with a more high stress because you're like, okay, I want to get this, this has to get done on this deadline. So Jacko and I will then give each other the space of going, okay, well, Janaya's got to get that, you know, submitted. I need to take the kids and do this. So, you know, we can really, it's about learning about each other. And I think Jacko and I have learned a lot about each other having started this business together. But, you know, we navigate it, and different things will come up that you can't foresee or forecast, and you just have to absolutely just make the best of the situation.
Yeah, I definitely agree in terms of what you said, like just navigating business and then a relationship, and then I can't imagine like kids on top. So, you know, you and Jackson, you start your J&J Rodeo company. You are doing quite well. Things are looking really good for your family. And then your oldest boy, Jack, he experienced a life-changing experience that, threw a massive spanner in the works and changed your whole family's life forever. I'd love for you to actually like speak into that.
Yeah, it really did. So we had not long just had Billy, our last little boy. So Billy was only a few weeks old, and we noticed that Jack was becoming rapidly unwell, and I'm really, really in tune with like my kids and their health, and like just picking up on things just not being quite right. And Jacko and I both were just like, Jack's behavior's a bit weird. We'd just moved in from one house to another house on our property that we'd been renovating. So we'd moved into it, and I could just see that Jack wasn't, like things just weren't quite right. Like his symptoms were just really odd, like nothing that I'd seen before.
Yeah.
And so Jacko and I, with the symptoms, we started to do some of our own research. And I never in my wildest dreams thought that this was going to be life or death, the symptoms that he was having. I Googled them. I was like, no, we just need to get him to the doctor. It was coming up on our Google saying type 1 juvenile diabetes, like type 1 diabetes. And I said to Jackson, I don't know anything about this, and that's not in our family, like in our genetics, like that can't be the case. And Jackson said, no, let's get him into the doctors. And obviously I was just fresh out of hospital with the little newborn baby. And then obviously our middle child, Fred, who just literally went with everything. We got Jack into the doctor, and I remember saying to the doctor, can you just do a finger prick? Because this is what our research is telling us. So I think it's really important that you should just do a finger prick. And the doctor was just like pretty persistent in saying, no, he presents so well. Like he actually looks fine. Like, you know, maybe it's this. And I was like, look, we live rural and I really just would like a finger prick. So I actually pushed really hard for that. And they did the finger prick, and it just went like really, really high. And because it went so high at the doctor's surgery, they couldn't give us a reading, but they said, you need to get down to emergency right now. Wow. And my heart literally stopped, and I was like, what? And so we raced Jack into the emergency. And he was only a few hours off like something really, really bad happening to him, and it was life or death at that point. So it was full blown in the emergency getting him. They'd officially diagnosed him with type 1 diabetes, and Jack still takes the record out. I think his a normal, just to give you guys an understanding, a normal blood glucose reading is between 4 and 8. Jack's was 57.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he was in extreme. He had the highest ketones. He was. They didn't actually understand how he wasn't in DKA, which is a coma, or dead, because that's how high it was. Wow. And honestly, he was so tough. Like he was running around the hospital. Like he was like, it was just like, how was he so sick? Like how? Like, and you know, yes, we got onto it before anything further happened, but in that moment, our lives changed forever. We didn't know what it meant for us at that point. I'd also, as I said, we had a little newborn baby as well. So we just went into this full blown, like our lives just being completely turned upside down, and knowing that all our priority was at that point was Jack and getting him healthy and getting him back home. And so we navigated in hospital for quite a few weeks back and forwards. And so we learnt so much. We had to basically, Jack was fully insulin dependent. So that meant lots of needles, lots of injections. That was very hard for him to navigate, also very hard for us. So whilst there was that big physical component to it, there was also a lot of the mental that we were not even one bit prepared for. So that was really, really hard, but we took it all in our stride. We made the best of the situation. I think it also really highlighted to us too, like who was really there for us in those moments where we nearly lost our son, and who wasn't. And I think we took everything on board. We learned a whole new way of life, but we really take the positives out of the situation as well. There's so much to learn that comes with this. But Jack was he's the most determined, strong, smart, and nothing will stop him from doing anything in his life. He is just I want to do it all. I can do it. I'm I've got this. His attitude and his determination is just the most inspiring thing. And his bravery, for a kid to have gone through all of that and to be just the medical intervention and then to have come out the other side, and he's pretty much managing J&J Rodeo. If I'm honest, he tells everyone he's the boss. So what was a really scary situation for us to have to navigate, and I'd love to delve into this, to type 1 diabetes itself more, and I'm sure there'll be a time where we can really talk about that or get people on here that also are navigating type 1, because it's something that we didn't know anything about until Jack got diagnosed 2 years ago. So in 2 years, we've had to, navigate these big health, health conditions, but also the growth that's come with our business, and had to maintain that as well. Yeah. And our other 2 kids and our farm and everything else. So it is a lot, but we do it, and we do it really well, and we get through it.
I am someone who's very inspired by you and your family and how you guys just navigate life and all the challenges that you guys have faced, and just trying to raise 3 kids at one point were under 5, and then running businesses, and then also navigating your life with your husband, and then of course you guys dealt with the floods.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, share a little bit about how that impacted your business, your farm, all of that.
Yeah, that was something that I obviously we did not prepare for. And our farm is in a flood zone. So on one of the major rivers, the Richmond River. So we knew that floods were definitely a possibility, and we knew that that's something that we probably would experience to a level, but we did not think that we were going to have one of the biggest floods on record. And that was something that we had just Jack and Freddie at that point back in 2022. And that changed a lot for us. I think it changed our perspective as well. And you just, when it was all happening, and that rain noise that we heard on our roof was just not like normal rain. It was 500 mils of rain in one night.
Wow.
So it was not just a shower of rain, and I still hear that noise. I still hear that amount of rain, and I think this is not normal. This something is going to happen. And that morning when the river, the water was starting to break the banks, Jackson was in all sorts of frantic about our animals, because we'd been speaking to lots of neighbours, lots of elderly neighbours that had lived in this area for a really, really long time, that were no, you shouldn't have to move your livestock, it'll be fine. And I said to Jackson, look, I think you just need to put everything in the yards. But at that point, our houses and our farm was already being damaged by all the rain, let alone the actual floods coming in. So we'd already were dealing with a lot of issues just from the amount of rain we'd had, and how that impacted our homes. And then the floods came, and that was just the wildest thing we've ever had to experience. And I think we were just in this state of, let's just get through this. Let's keep everything alive. Let's keep everyone safe. Yeah. And we were pretty much stuck at that point. We were already beyond being able to leave, because the water had started to inundate our property. So we went to a neighbouring a neighboring property at that point. We'd put everything in the yards, like all of our bulls, our cows, our horses, everything. We'd moved our dogs, and as the water was breaking, as the banks were breaking, we were leaving, and that. And we went next door, and actually, thankfully, that house that we went to next door didn't flood. But when we came back to our houses, they were completely inundated. So we were in that state of, and obviously having little Freddie, who was only 6 months old, 7 months old, and then Jack, only a few years old, having to see all of that as well was really quite distressing and sad for them. But we just went into full blown, like, we've got this, like, clean up mode. We had some incredible support. My mum flew in on a helicopter. Like, she literally just arrived in a helicopter on our property. We were like, who is this? And she just, like, turned up and she, like, saved the day. It was, oh my God, it was the best, her coming and doing that. And it just, like, she just came, and she came with all this stuff. And yeah, I'll never forget that, just that helicopter. We were like, what is going on? And it was Mum. And we were like, oh my God. So there was little moments of joy through some of the hardest times. But we got in it. We lived in a caravan on our property for a few months. We renovated all our houses. We also supported the community the best we could, and we were getting some incredible support. So that did put our business on hold there for a little while, because we had to navigate all those things. And obviously, when you have a flood and a natural disaster to the extent that was, that meant just like feeding and keeping everything alive as well, which was extremely, like, mentally draining, because you are literally just trying to feed all your animals and obviously get them back into good condition to be able to take them to events and things. So there was a lot to navigate at that point in time, but we got through it, and it's something that I just go, whoa, like, if we can get through that as well, and then get through everything we got through with Jack, I just think we can keep rising up through these things. And it's all just building resilience and building strength within ourselves, and knowing that we can do this and we can get through it.
Yeah. Yeah. How inspiring is that? Like, yeah, your family has faced so many big challenges, and yet you just continue to rise above it all. To wrap up this podcast episode, I would love for you, this is like, might be putting you on the spot here, but like, if you could summarize in a couple of sentences on how you yourself have risen above all of your challenges. If you were to give someone some advice who might be struggling or can really relate to it, or even just sharing what you did, what would you say?
Yeah, wow, that's a hard one, Amber, and that's putting me on the spot, but I will do this. I've got this. I think in those moments of challenges, it's you're not really thinking about, like, for me, it's not, I don't get in this headspace of why me, why is this happening? Sometimes you have little glimpse moments of, frustration and like, why is this happening? Like when we went through what we went through with Jack, and we sort of did question for a minute, like, why is this happening to us? We live such a healthy life, like we've got such a healthy, beautiful little boy. Like, I literally did everything I possibly could, and it obviously had nothing to do with us, but you do question that. But I think you can't let that sink in. You've got to actually move past that, and you've got to go, it's not about why me. It's about, this has happened for a reason, and we will be able to get through this, and we'll be able to get through this stronger. So it's not sitting in those head spaces of, victimizing things. It's actually, I never have been in that headspace. And I think that's why I've been able to rise up through it, is because I've gone, I'm going to make the bloody best out of this situation, and I'm going to get through this, and I've got it. And I tell myself that, I can do this, and I can get through this, and I am strong enough. And I think that's the difference between sitting in a negative headspace and sitting in a positive headspace. So I think it's, it's easy to say, yeah, just be a positive person. It's easy to do that. But I think in those moments, I wasn't thinking about, why was this happening? I was thinking about, let's get through this. Yeah. Let's get on the other side of this. Let's rise up from this, and let's make the best out of this situation. So I hope that's some good advice there.
That was such good advice. And yeah, that's the embodiment of rising above challenges, and very, very inspiring, babe. And I can't wait to delve more into specific topics over the next couple of episodes that we release to you guys. But if you guys really loved this episode, let us know what part you were very inspired by. For me, it's everything, like just how you and your family have navigated challenges in life. But yeah, we have our Instagram, which is Built to Rise Podcast. We would love you guys to send in messages, just give us some feedback, any thing you related to story-wise, and share it with us, your stories. Maybe there was something particular that you were like, wow, I really resonated with that. I'm sure Janaya would love to hear that and connect with more people who really understand what, Janaya and her family have gone through. So thanks, babe. This is another episode done and dusted. Thank you, guys. And make sure to hit that subscribe button.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep, done.